Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. Um, I saw an episode of the. Well, I watched The Shy. For the most part, it's an interesting show, but I'm starting to see some shit that's going on where the show is starting to take a downslide because a lot of people are starting to see what's going on with that show in one Lena Waithe or Lena Waithe. Some people call her Waithe, whatever the case may be. I'm seeing something that I've already talked about on several occasions, and a lot of y'all need to start seeing a pattern with this. And I'm gonna do a comparison in a pattern video. And when I put together the video, you gonna say, okay, yeah. Now keep in mind, I told you a lot of the shit that I predicted years ago was gonna come to fruition, and you was gonna slowly start to see it from them passing laws where they trying to rewrite history by trying to tell you that you can't talk about race, because I told you the overall plan, what they want to try to do is rewrite history and portray black people as the so-called oppressors. That's why they're trying to pass laws where you can't talk about, or what they call, race theory. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do a video about that on my other channel, because I'm gonna go the hell off and tell you exactly what they trying to do. But it's pretty much coincides what I'm about to talk about in this video, how they want to portray black people, and then particularly black men, in a certain light, which I think The Shy is starting to show me where Lena Waithe's head is and what her mentality is. And all you have to do is look at her, you know, and it's self-explanatory. But I'm gonna do a video talking about her and a whole bunch of of these black female uh, writers, producers, and etc., because they are basically following the script that's presented to them by the people that they get orders from, the people that green light these shows. Because keep in mind, you have to put in certain things to keep in mind. They have somebody that they answer to, and they have people that give them ideas for the show, and people that tell them what to write about. And they have a room full of writers. It's not just one person. They in a room with like 3 or 4, sometimes even 5 people putting together ideas for these shows and episodes and stuff. Trust me, I know. Do not be fooled by, my street dialect. But anyway, with that being said, let's talk about this season. There is a storyline. Now, I do like the issue that they're trying to address police brutality in the community. But there's also a storyline that they tried to address last year. Now, keep in mind that there's also an agenda that I keep telling you that they trying to portray, black men as these uncontrollable sexual deviants that can't control themselves. But we all know, if you look at the FBI statistics, who are ranked number one in, sexual assault cases, and they don't look like us, you know. Um, but last year they featured the character Keisha. In episode 1, she was kidnapped, and she was played by this actress named Burgundy Baker. Burgundy Baker is is pretty. She she's if I'm not mistaken, she's in her 30s, but she look like she looks she looks the age that she plays on the show, like she about 19 or 20. But from what I heard, Burgundy Baker is in her 30s. Her black truly is not cracking. But okay, last year they had a storyline that they wanted to address the missing black girls thing. Okay, and that's fine because a lot of black girls are missing and the media has ignored these stories. But what happened to her character was kidnapped. And basically, she was held against her will by this weirdo black dude. Now, to make a long story short, he kidnapped her and he was raping her. But to make a long story short, she got, rescued by the character Ronnie. And, eventually, well, we all know what happened. Uh, Ronnie's character was killed by a friend of somebody that he killed in season 1, episode 1. Basically, the dude wanted some get back. He felt like he didn't pay a big enough price. He basically, admitted to doing it, and basically he was forgiven, and the other dude didn't forgive him, and basically he came from behind and he domed him. So, but anyway, to make a long story short, he rescued her, and the end of episode the end of episode 10 last year, I think the season finale, because I think they only go 10 episodes per season. The Keisha character found out that she was pregnant, and she decided that she wasn't going to abort the baby. She considered it, but she decided she wasn't going to abort it. She decided to keep it. And basically season 4 starts where she's clearly pregnant, on the verge of giving birth. She looked like she probably 8 months or 9 months, but she decided she's going to keep the baby, but she's going to give the baby up for adoption. Now this is where it gets funny. Now she's going through these candidates who she think would be a suitable parent for her child, and she goes through a few people. But to make a long story short, she meets this woman. She's a business woman. She's well off. She's doing pretty good. She seems to have a good head on her shoulders, but she admits to her that she's going through a divorce because when she first meets up with Keisha, Keisha has sent something, and she's just like, okay, I don't know. So she gets her to admit that she's going through a divorce. And she tells the lady at first, she said, well, I don't want my baby to be raised in a single parent home. Okay. Now I'm going to get to the message, what they're trying to say, which I've been talking about this for a while. But she goes through some candidates, and then what makes her decide overall, a black couple comes to visit her. They can't have children. They've already adopted 2 other children. They are interested in adopting her baby. But they make a comment saying, the Lord told her not to abort the baby. So I guess she was, angered by the fact that they brought religion into it. And then she said, well, that ain't why I decided to keep it. So, she got pissed off. And then basically, to make a long story short, she decides to give it to she tells the lady who's going through a divorce that she chose her to give her baby to. And see, this sends a terrible message. Don't we have enough problems in our community with single parent homes? And basically, she's going to let this black lady raise the baby on her own without a male role model, a male figure. And that's the problem that we have right now. Black women raising babies on their own and thinking that they can raise a child by themselves without the influence or the input of a man. And that's the problem that's been hurting our community for years. Saying that a black woman don't need a black man around. You notice they never do that with these white shows. They always usually have the parent, uh, if they're not together, the father is around in some sort of way. But most of the time with these shows with white kids or white people, the parents are still together and all that kind of stuff. How long has this been going on with these TV shows? One thing I did respect about Family Matters, even though Family Matters was a little, yeah, a little far fetched, not as far as the two parent house. Just, I felt like Family Matters didn't tackle, I think, serious issues with being black. They didn't tackle race enough. But then when you found out that the writers were white people, then what you expect? You look at most of these shows with black people, um, a lot of times it's just the mother and the father is nowhere to be found. They make it look like black men don't give a damn about their kids, which is a absolute fucking lie, and that's just real talk. And it sends the wrong message. That's a problem. Keep in mind, Lena Waithe, she answered to people, and they don't look like her. But that's an agenda that they love to push on TV. That they've been telling black women for the longest. Hey, you don't need you don't need a man. You, in particularly a black man, or black men don't want to be involved in their children's life. And I think that's a horrible message to send, But some black women really have been conditioned to believe that they can be the male and the woman in a relationship, and also when it comes to raising and developing a child. Raising is the same as developing a child, and you need to influence and input of both a man and a woman. Now, like I said, me and my son's mother, we split up when he was like maybe 2 years old, but I was always around. I made sure that I was around. Never missed a graduation. Always there for my son. I played an active role in his life. Now, sometimes I was working. I couldn't come to all his football games and stuff. Now, it's big, but I tried to come to some. But I made sure that he saw me there. And I used to explain to him. Now he's playing football in college. I'm going to go to one of his games because he wants me there. But I feel like it's important that a male be in his child's life. Even though TV has brainwashed and tried to make black men feel like they're not a necessity and they're not needed, and that black women can do it by themselves, which is complete bullshit, and it needs to be said. At the end of the day, as black men, we have to start calling these TV shows out. We got to start calling the people that's writing these shows and putting this bullshit out. We got to stop being scared about backlash, being called misogynistic and all this shit. I ain't worried about no cancel culture. Fuck the cancelers. Fuck y'all with a capital F. We have to start using our voice. I know society has tried to devalue us and make it seem like we're irrelevant. We're very relevant. And we got to stop thinking that. We got to stop. If it means coming after people that look like us, so be it. We got to stop being scared and worried. I don't give a damn about no backlash. I'm not worried about black women being angry at me. Because if that's the case, you think I mean, for real, if that's the case, I would have been upset about them having an issue with me, having an issue with Cam Cam. I was like, fuck y'all. What have I said about Kamala Harris that wasn't true? And people seeing it for theyself. She's a fucking moron. And she's not smart enough, and it needs to be said, or prepared to become president of the United States. And you can take your misogynistic bullshit and shove it up your ass. For real. That stuff don't bother me. Doesn't affect me in no kind of way. I'm not one of them people. Oh my God, she's calling me a misogynist. So, just like when white people come on my channel and say, oh, I think you're a racist. Like I care what y'all think. Just needed to be said. This has to be said, and it will continue to be said. But for real, we got to start speaking up, brothers. And this video is not demeaning and putting down all the sisters, but just in particularly the sisters that are co-signing this bullshit. And I'm going to make this very clear. You cannot raise a young man or a young lady by yourself. Y'all sisters going to have to get off y'all high horse and stop believing the bullshit that white mama and zaddy is brainwashing y'all with. It takes two parents to raise a child, not just you. But you notice they don't never tell that to Hispanic people, that only a Hispanic woman can raise a child, or Asians or other non-blacks only do that to us. Why is that? Think about it. It's your boy Town Biz. I'm out.